All right, guys. The next thing I want to talk about, really the last thing we have to discuss, is taking risks. All right, very hard for me to say risks. Taking risks. Don't laugh at me, man. It's hard for me to say. But listen, when you're on this journey, you're gonna have to start taking a risk. All right, you're gonna have to get uncomfortable. All right, taking a risk is uncomfortable, but when you take a risk, once again, it's all about your actions. The most successful people are always taking risks. All right. So you have to, if you're going to be that, if you want to be that, you have to act as though you are that already. So you're going to have to start taking more risks. All right. If you're ready to leave that job and you have something better for you, if you have something planned that can change your life, you're going to have to take a risk, bro. Because that lets you know that you unconsciously believe that you are ready to manifest the life of your dreams. All right. If you stick, if you're not taking risks, if you're staying comfortable, that's just sending out to the field that I'm afraid and I'm not ready. All right. But when you are confident and disciplined enough to take a risk, you are truly showing how powerful you really are. All right. Now I have to tell you about a time where I took a risk. So last year, like I told you guys, I'm a former 8th grade and 7th grade science teacher in Dallas, Texas. All right. And I'm going to be honest with you. I love kids. I love my students and like just dealing with them and teaching them about life lessons. Because my whole thing was I was teaching science, but I was more so teaching like this shit. I was teaching about the powers of the mind, emotions, and I was trying to affect as many kids as I could, especially the ones who were receptive to the information. And I was a cool ass teacher. Like, as you can probably imagine, like, I'm black, I'm tatted with dreads. I'm not your stereotypical a teacher, you know what I'm saying? But very smart, graduated high school, summa cum laude, business degree, certified in science. So, I'm definitely have the credentials to do it. I just don't look the part. But me looking the way I look, it made it easier for them to like confide in me for information and just to teach them. They wanted to always know like how to be better and like how to deal with girls and how to deal with their parents and stuff like that. So that's what I was teaching them about, really about emotional intelligence. All right. So, but in saying that, I hated the fucking environment that the school that I was in the school. Like, nobody worked out as teachers. Like, none of the staff like was on this type of information. It was like super gossipy and like just like childish. The environment was toxic as fuck. So I knew it was getting to a point where I need to leave that job. All right. But I have 4 children. I'm a wife. My wife has a business of her own, but it wasn't, she more so does that when she feels like it. But she makes good money when she does it, but it's just when she feels like it, because that's what I want her to do. I want her, I've always wanted her to live a life to where she didn't feel like she had to do stuff. She just does it when she wants to do it. And that's true wealth, all right? I want her to be able to be in her feminine energy as much as possible. And women can't, if they're always doing things that they don't want to do, it knocks them out of their feminine and it causes an imbalance. And I just want her to be at her highest state. So I was, once again, I was teaching, I had a barbershop, and I had my 18-wheeler, right? So I was making well over $100,000 after taxes. So I was living a pretty, well life, especially coming from the life that I lived. I lived in Section 8 my whole life. I didn't know my dad growing up. My mom was a great mom, the best mom that you could possibly have, but she was really depressed, all right? She had a child at 15 years old. And then she had I have a twin. She had 2 more kids at the age of 20. So she had 3 kids by the time she was 20. She wasn't a high school graduate or a college graduate. She was a beautician. So she was an entrepreneur herself. She was able to make me ends meet. But just think about it. I was a very headstrong child. So I kind of was mischievous. I was always doing shit. And she didn't have anybody to help her. My grandma helped her as much as she could, but ultimately it was just everything was on my mom. So I didn't get the thing, like the teachings and the guidance that I felt as though I needed at the time in order to, create life the way I wanted to create it. Although the way I grew up was perfect for me, for my maturation. But like I said, I didn't grow up the best. So the life that I was living in comparison to that was total opposite. It was amazing. All right. But I knew that if you're not doing what you love, essentially you're not like the people who I studied, they all do what they love. So I knew that I had to make a change in order to become that person. So it was like time to take a risk. All right. So the risk was me quitting my teaching job. All right. And everybody, like, it's you would not understand how many people were asking me how they could get into teaching because I was making it look so cool and so fun. And, they were raising the salary for teachers. So in Texas, you make about 65 to 70K teaching for 9 months, which is, in comparison to other jobs and other fields, is decent money, depending on your standards or whatever. So, but I knew I needed the change. All right. And I was in the shower one day, fucking 10:30 at night, man. And this is last summer. And I told myself, I was like, you know what, bro? If I truly believe, and this is when I was starting this personal one-on-one coaching, if I truly believe that I am who I say I am and that God is as great as God is, then I'm going to have to take a risk and challenge my belief system and really become that person who I want to be, because I can't create the life that I want to create with a job. All right, I have to be an entrepreneur. I have to work for myself. All right, because no people that I know that I look up to are employed. They employ people. Okay, and that's what I ultimately decided. In 10:30 at night, I spoke to God. I said, "Listen, man." Literally, I said, "Listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm about to quit my fucking job because I want to show you that I trust you and that I believe you, and I want to show you also that I'm disciplined. That I'm gonna be disciplined enough to manifest the life that I want to manifest. I just want to have this agreement with you that if I quit my job, that I'm going to go as hard as I can and manifest the life of my dreams so I can tell people how great you are." That was my whole conversation with God. And once I went within myself and had that talk and talked to God and decided that's what I wanted to do, and we were on the same page, I texted my principal and I told her I wasn't coming back. And I meant that shit. Like, I'm not coming back. I didn't discuss it with my wife. I didn't do anything. It's like, because I knew what I needed to do. And my wife was all for it because she follows my lead. All right. She knows that I'm going to make great decisions. And even if it doesn't seem like a great decision at the time, I'll always find the blessing in it and it'll end up being a great decision. But I texted them that and they were totally shocked, surprised. But it's what I had to do. It's what I needed to do. And it's so crazy. Like, that was a summer, and previous to that, and I was going through some shit, all right, because, this seemed like the worst time to quit your job, all right. I told you guys I was an 18-wheeler owner, right? So previous, like probably 3 months before that, this is May, 3 months before, my 18-wheeler broke down. Okay. No. It's not even 3 months. It's like 5 months before that. So this is like November. My 18-wheeler broke down, right? And it was like a repair that it was just like, it made more sense. It was like, you might need to sell this truck. And so I decided to sell it, right? I got pretty good money for it because the market had went up so much for trucks because everybody was getting into it. I sold it for like $4,000 less than I bought it for like 2 years later. So it was like a really good deal. I got it. And then I ended up talking to this guy because I was so anxious. I was like, I need to put this money somewhere. So I ended up getting in with this guy who was supposedly doing wholesale real estate deals, getting tax lien properties. And I gave this guy, I sold the truck for $38K. I gave him all $38,000 to help to flip a property that he said he had. And as you can imagine, the guy fucking lied, all right? He lied, didn't have the property, and it ended up biting me in the fucking ass because now not only did I sell my truck, but I lost the money that I got from selling my truck in a bad real estate deal, all right, with someone who I trusted. And although I shouldn't have trusted him because he was always showing me signs, but I was not being myself. I wasn't being my authentic self, and I was letting a lot of shit slide. All right. When a person shows that flaw really exists. All right. And you need to pay attention to it. But this happened, like I said, sold the truck in November. Around January, February is when shit hit the fan, when we found out. Because he had done this to a couple other people who I knew, because he was long story short, he was a dad of one of my son's teammates. All right. And he was He got a couple other people on the team for like a total of $100,000. And we tried to take him to court, but he repaid us some money. So the DA said, or the DA that we talked to said, as long as he's trying to repay you, you can't really take actions upon him because you've already accepted money from him. And I never knew how that worked, but that's how she explained it. And so anywho, I'm dealing with that. And it fucked me up at first. It really hurt me, but it was like, I couldn't blame anybody but myself because I wasn't asking questions. My wife told me not to do it. My wife came from she's more street smart, all right? She grew up around a bunch of drug dealers and a bunch of hustlers, all right? So she understood exactly like what was going on. She used to tell me like, Tyler, it's something fishy about this. I don't like him. And I'm like, no, you just don't understand. Like, this is what it takes to succeed and to do things. You got to take risks, right? So that risk that I took that time fucking failed, but it was me depending on other people with the risk, all right? And that was the difference. So when it was time for me to take this risk, like those same thoughts came up. It's like, well, damn, look what happened when you took that risk. But I was like, no, I'm different this time. I'm not depending on someone else in order to manifest something for me. I'm betting on me, all on me. All right. And I knew I was ready to implement all the disciplines that I needed to implement in order to obtain this. I had already implemented the disciplines. That's why it was easier for me to do it, because I was already that person. I was that person already. I was already waking up early. I was already doing the coach showers. I was already reading and meditating every day and just doing everything I needed to do to be the person that I wanted to become. All right. So this risk it was a little scary, but at the same time, I know who I am and I know what God I serve. And I knew that I had to do this in order to become my greatest version. And once again, this is during May, summer months about to come out. You get paid during the summer, so I took that into account too. But everything was aligned for me to go ahead and do it. All right, it was all perfect. And that was my sign. It's like, all right, let's do it. And I'll tell you this, man, crazy, honest to God truth. When I quit my teaching job, right? This is when I started Inertia. When I quit my teaching job, I started Inertia. I started creating videos. I started one-on-one coaching. I started going to networking events, just letting people know that I was doing it. I was training, like physical training. It was more so kids training. It was on mindset and football training. A month later, I got my first client, one-on-one coaching client, for $10,000. $10,000. Honest to God truth. I got my first, a month later after quitting, I got my first, and it was out of the blue. I had no idea. All right. And it was like, it blew my fucking mind, because I was like, damn, this is how shit happens. When you make it a non-negotiable and you say you burn the boats and you take a risk, and then you put all of your intentions and your energy into yourself and focus on God, you walk on, you that's when you can walk on water. All right, but the second you start to look down and look at everything that might happen, the shit that might knock you off the boat, or some, just your fears, then that's when you start to sink. And you're looking up, and you're looking down. That's when you're treading water. No, I have to walk. You have to walk on water. You have to do what seems illogical to the human mind. You have to do the impossible. All right, you do that by keeping your eyes up, keeping your eyes on God. Stay focused on the positive things and what you can manifest. And I promise you, it will happen for you. The month after I quit my teaching job and I bet on me, I got a $10,000 wire from a client who wanted one-on-one coaching from me. All right, and it's crazy. And that's not the only time those come. They've been coming all the time. All right, so many things. My book has just been selling like crazy. Everything just went above and beyond what I expected. All right. And you always get what you expect, but you have to work on your expectations, and God is going to increase those by the manifestations that you get. And now my expectations are through the roof. All right. I plan on making more than $1 million this year. All right. More than, you know what I'm saying? Like in 10 years, I plan on being a billionaire. All right. And I'm giving myself some time for that to happen, but I know it's going to happen because I know I'm going to do the things necessary that it takes in order for that to manifest into my life. I'm going to take the risk. All right. Because taking a risk truly shows that you believe that you are capable of accomplishing anything. All right. And until you believe that, you won't accomplish what's authentically for you. All right. You'll accomplish great things, but the greatest one is when you take a risk. The Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, the Facebook CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, just the greats, the Levi Strauss, the Nikola Teslas, Thomas Edisons, everybody that you know that created something meaningful and something great had to take a risk. They ended up having to leave a job that they didn't like. They ended up having to leave a career that was, in the eyes of everybody else, that was great, but it just wasn't fulfilling them. All right. And if you're that person right now, decide what you want to do first. Decide who you have to become in order to manifest that, and become that person now. And then when you feel as though you're ready, leave, man. You got to take that leap of faith. All right. You got to take that leap of faith. And when you take that leap of faith, you got to understand that you can't walk. You have to walk by faith and not by sight. And what I mean by that is your sight, what you see, is a collection of your past thoughts and actions. All right. So everything that you're experiencing right now in your reality is just a reflection of what you thought and how you acted in the past and how you felt in the past. But the second that you start to change your in the now, and you start to embody higher level emotions and higher level thoughts and higher level actions, then your future will reflect the thoughts that you're thinking right now. All right. So don't get deterred from what you see. All right. Don't depend on your senses to give you feedback on what you're manifesting. Don't depend on that right now, because once you change how you feel right now, your future will reflect that eventually. All right. But you have to focus on being it right now, feeling it right now, controlling your state of being right now, and everything in your life will change eventually. All right. Don't focus on what you see. Focus on what you see in here. Okay. Focus on what you see in here, because that's the real reality. In here, it's what's real. Out there is what's an illusion. All right. And it's past. It's old. This is old. The newness is here. And when you create newness here, you'll receive it in your outer reality. And it's really, that's how it goes, guys. And I promise you. And I just want to leave you with that. And ultimately, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out to purchase this course and become the greatest version for yourselves, man. It's been truly a blessing to create this course. I recorded this so many times. I worked so hard on this just so I can give you guys the information in the most efficient manner. And I believe that I've done that today. I feel really good about this. And I know it's going to change a lot of lives. And I just can't wait till you guys take it. And I can't wait to hear your feedback from it. And I can't wait till you guys start implementing this into your life, so you can tell me how much you've changed and how much the people around you have changed. And I just want to let you know from my family to you that we appreciate you and we love you, and we wish nothing but peace, abundance, and blessings into your lives. All right. Make sure that you go out after you watch this and conquer it. Attack that shit, man. Become your greatest version. And don't give a fuck what nobody thinks about you. All right. Because the only thing that matters is what you think about you, what your wife thinks about you. But to take it even deeper, people are going to feel the same way about you that you feel about you. Everybody is just a reflection of the way that you feel within. All right. Everybody in your reality. The second that you start to put yourself at the forefront, and the second that you start to admire yourself more, you'll be admired by everybody in the world. And that's really how it goes. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day.